dialogue. Is that happening with these lessons?
Yeah.
Okay, what's making it happen?
Questions.
The questions? Okay. What else makes it happen?
The activity.
What else makes it happen?
Well, you're kind of drawing more and more out of someone. If they give you something brief and concise, you kind of open it up.
Thank you. Glad you noticed that. The two questions that I rely on the most when we're doing dialogue is, tell me some more about that, you know. And the other thing I'll say is, wow, what in the text, what in the Bible made you say that? What made you think that? So those are the two questions I rely on the most, okay? Anything else that encourages the dialogue? Let's say small groups, okay? Because when you're sitting in that big group all the time, man, it's just, some people just aren't going to talk in that large group. So I think having people in the small groups before they come to the big group and making those small groups change from week to week, that really helps.
I think also doing the one-on-one, the individual work before you do that, it means you don't come just with blank stares. It means
Right.
You actually have thought about it, and then you actually have something to say.
Yeah, from years of teaching junior high, I realized that if you just put them in groups of 3 and tell them work, then it's like everybody wants to be in Paul's group because they know Paul will do all the group, all the work, and they can copy off of him. But if I make them do something individually before they go to the group, it creates that desire to talk. It's like, wait, I've got an idea here, and you're going to listen to me and respect me, and I'm going to share. And so, yeah, I think it's really important is on a lot of these activities, have them do just a little bit individually before you send them into their groups of 3 and 4. Are we building relationships? Yeah, the small groups, I think, definitely will do that. And again, keep moving your groups out. What about this one? This is the one I worry about. Are we pulling truth from Scripture? Yeah? Talk to me about that.
Well, reflecting on the Scripture and seeing what's there in the context of the Scripture.
How do we know that what we're pulling out is true? How do we know if what we're pulling out of the Scripture is true? And that's the one I worry about, and that's why I'm asking.
Goes back up to accountability. It's the group itself holds the group accountable to stay focused on the truth. That's why we kind of discuss it with the group.
Well, that is a good point. Yeah, and I think so as we do it a small group, and then when we go to large group, if someone says something that's way off, somebody should be picking up on that. Okay, sounds better. Thank you. All right, we're going to keep moving forward. Okay, personal applications, that's kind of built into every lesson.
Yeah.
And then remember and share the stories. That's why I have you at the end tell the story to each other. And then on the share the word activity, I'm very serious about that. Get out and share that story 3 times. And that doesn't mean you've got to tell it the way Hawkins told it or the way I told it. It means that you're at work and you say, hey, we have this really interesting story lesson. I'm going to share it with you. And it's just conversational. It's just talking about, Adam and Eve were in the garden and Satan came along. Man, he was so sneaky. Listen to what he said to her. And just talk to them about the story. Share those stories. And the more you do that, the more that story becomes a part of you. You're creating disciples doing that. Okay, lesson 3. You're on page 6 of your handout. These would be my opening questions to get voices in the room. Is how important is it to feel safe and secure? How do you protect your home and all your possessions? This has been an interesting how do you protect your home and all your possessions? And I've heard some really interesting things from some of the groups I've worked with. So I'm going to just move past that because you understand the importance of the opening question, right? And it's just to get voices in the room.
No. Yeah, page 8.
Oh, page 8. I said 6. I'm sorry. It's 8. It's 6.
It's 6 on my one. I have it on page. Oh, it says page 6.
Oh.
But it's not really.
Oh, sorry, I found it.
Other
Oh, I
hours.
see. No. It's just that the page 7 is what the stories.
Oh, but it's not numbered.
But it's not numbered. Yeah.
Look at your numbers on that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, that is there on
Yeah.
page 6
You're right.
for you.
I don't know 6.
Okay.
You actually do keep going.
There it is.
I just stuck the stories in there and I haven't numbered them yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because after I printed it all out, I thought, well, you know what? I want the stories in there, and there are reasons I want them in there, so I just
So you
stuck them
just
in.
stuck 'em in,
Yeah. So that would be our opening question. After we do the opening question, what's the next thing I would ask them to do? I would ask them
To devise this for you?
Get someone to tell a story.
Individual work.
first I would have them read your poems to me. So we would have, since we're on lesson 3, we would have 4 stanzas. We'd have 2 stanzas for story 1, 2 stanzas for story 2. And then I would have somebody share the story. What is that up there for? Oh, okay. There's a reason for that one, but we'll hide him for the time being.
Yeah.
Okay. So story 3 is the call of Abraham. Let's see. Think on that one. Oh, I know what it was. Yeah, call of Abraham. So God spoke to Abram, and he said, I want you to leave your country. I want you to leave your kin. I want you to travel to a land that I will tell you. I will make of you a great nation. I will make your name great, that others might be blessed. Those who bless you, I will bless. Those who curse you, I will curse. And so Abram did what God asked. He was 75 years old when he left Haran. He took his wife Sarai, he took his brother's son, Lot, and they traveled toward the land of Canaan. Now, as they were traveling, they came through the land of Shechem, and the Canaanites were living there. But God came to Abram, and he said, I will give all of this land to your offspring. And so Abram built an altar, and he offered praise to the Lord. When they left Shechem, they traveled then east of Bethel. And there again, Abram built an altar that he might call out to God. When they left there, they were headed toward the Negev desert. And at that point, Abram realized there was a terrible drought. And so the decision was made they would go on to Egypt, for the drought was severe indeed. Now, as they were traveling toward Egypt, Abram turned toward Sarai and he said, you are a woman of such great beauty. When the Egyptians see you, they're going to kill me to get to you. Tell them you're my sister. That way, they'll treat me very well, and you'll be saving my life. So as they got into Egypt, indeed, the Egyptians did. They were astounded by Sarah's beauty. Many of the officials, they went directly to the Pharaoh and talked about her. And because he thought this was Abram's sister, he brought Sarai into his home, into the palace, as his wife. He treated Abram quite well. He gave him camels, donkeys, sheep, goats. But God brought punishment onto Pharaoh's palace. He sent plagues upon him that affected everyone in the palace. Pharaoh came to Abram and he said, why did you do this to me? Why did you tell me she's your sister? Take your wife, leave, get out. And then he told all of his people, let him leave, let his family leave, and let him take all of his wealth. Okay. So for this activity, I need you in teams of 4. So we're going to count off 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the only way it works is if you remember what number you said when you were counting off. Okay, so we're going to count off 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll just start here. 1,
1,
3,
4.
I'm gonna go over there.
Well, no, you just said, because you're going to move.
Oh, 1.
Because you're going to be with all the ones.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
2,
3,
4,
1, 2,
3,
4.
2, 3,
You doing this, Raj?
Not probably
Okay.
1, 2,
3.
4. 2,
3.
4.
Well, look at that. Turned out perfect. Okay, I want all the ones come up to this corner. If you're a 1, come on up to this corner. If you're a 2, come on up and gather around here. If you're a 3, you're going to gather back there in this corner. And the corners are going back to that corner. So move to your corners. Get to your corner. All right.
Only two? Oh.
All right, now, I'm going to ask you to work kind of quickly on this, and here's what's going to happen.
Susie, we're two.
I'm going to give, I'll get seated. Okay. Get situated.
To send the ESL stuff.
It looks like we have about 6 to a team, so this is going to work out real nice. See how I planned that? I'm going to give each team a paper. I'm going to give you 6 papers that look like this. Here is where you'll do your sketch. Here is the text of what you're going to sketch. Okay? So I've taken the story that you just heard and I divided it into 6 sections. And you're going to sketch those 6 sections. Okay? We're not looking for Picasso. Well, maybe Picasso, because he might look like that. I don't know. But we're not looking for Rembrandt or anything here. We're just looking for a sketch. And go ahead and use your whole paper. Okay? So you understand what you're going to do. If there's 6 at your table, each person take one of these and start sketching. So you're going to sketch what's here. Here's your text, and you're going to sketch it down here. Do not number this in any way. Okay? Just do the sketch. And when you finish your sketch, fold that back down. Okay? Everybody following? Okay. And there are tons of markers up here. So from each table, select one responsible person to come up and get a handful of markers and to get your papers.
You're responsible.